You hear a tip tap tink. Those are the sounds of a bullet ripping through the exterior metal on an up-armored Suburban and hitting the interior steel plates. This is what you train for. You're driving the limo in a motorcade. Your team must defend, decoy, and delay. This is the mission, this is the safety and the principle. This is all that matters. So I'm talking today about protecting your principal in a motorcade in the event of an attack. It may never happen if you're lucky, but you were always supposed to be prepared. Now the reality here is, in Kuwait, which is where I serve, in the Joint Visitors Bureau, the movement will be smooth, usually, and uneventful. The principal will briefly notice that they have been transported. It's like they stepped off a plane and right into their quarters. That is what you want. Today I'm going to try to build on your military motorcade experience to prepare you for a simple, low-risk movement. This is an example of a low-risk movement. It would be maybe a tail turn from Ali Al Salim Air Base, the military side, to with transportation from Kuwait City International Airport to Camp Arif John the following day, a couple office calls with Commanding General and some other entities, and then transportation by helo to another airfield where they'd go by Mil Air to Afghanistan. Used to be Iraq. Kuwait is the hub for Southwest Asia, basically. So let's stay on track here. I don't want you to look at this as something that you're learning new. I want you to build on what you already know. In regards to preparation, reconnaissance, staging, execution, and always an after-action report to see what you did right or wrong. Okay, so for a distinguished visitor visit, it always starts with a visit announcement. Then there is a visit verification. Let's see, the visit is entered onto the official calendar, and the visit is briefed to the Commanding General at 3rd Army. Commanding General gives input, asks some questions. The Joint Visitors Bureau, which I work for, assigns an Office of Personal Responsibility. They're ultimately responsible for the entire visit and all the details. However, the JVB does quarterback it and assist along the way. At times, JVB is the OPR, so that's a little bit different. For the sake of my speech today, I'm going to describe the steps that the JVB would take, as they're going to be the OPR, to clarify the methodology. So, being that the Joint Visitors Bureau is the Office of Personal Responsibility, the first step is to approve the theater clearance request, the TCR. The TCR has all the pertinent information to initiate the visit, such as vital information for the PACs traveling, the purpose of the visit, that's key, all the times for movement, let's see here, the airfields, their identifiers, the times that the plane will be landing, that's always in Zulu time, and POCs along the way if there should be any issues. Once we are sure that we have a good visit, we put the visit on the DV calendar. And then it'll be briefed on the following Saturday and updated constantly until execution. It's truly a living and breathing document. In the preparation phase, escorts and drivers are assigned by an action officer who quarterbacks the visit. The action officer, also known as the AO, will also initiate an ITARS request. This initiates any military flights, fixed-wing flights, intra-theater flights. And then they'll also propose transport movement requests for ground transportation. They'll reserve vehicles and APACS requests for any rotary hops within the near area and theater. Action officer arranges lodging, contingency lodging, dining events, and locations, as well as contingency dining plans. We're always planning on anything going wrong and everything going wrong, so that the meeting goes as well as planned. The final piece is to coordinate the meetings that they have to attend, which is the whole reason the DV is actually coming here. The reason and purpose of the meeting must be fully understood, and the time maximized regarding the proper exposure. All parties that require FaceTime have to be vetted, prioritized, and coordinated through their office. A lot of people want to see and get FaceTime with the distinguished visitor. This isn't always possible because it's not in the best interest or the purpose of their particular travel here. The meeting consists of office calls, roundtables, working meetings, and summits with host nations and visiting delegates. I'm not going to get into detail of that because I want to focus on actually transporting them while they're here. The purposes of the meetings can range into many different realms. The purpose of the travel actually drives who will meet with the DV. So let's define a distinguished visitor. That's an 07 or above, or a civilian equivalent, which is also known as a senior executive service member. Also, caveat to that, it can be special guests of the commanding generals. That's anything from Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, wounded warriors, entertainers, other foreign delegates that don't have a particular ranking. So once the itinerary has a shell, the plans go into motion into greater detail. Personnel are assigned to execute meetings, working, dining, meetings, food, refreshments, stationery, and comms. They're all coordinated and approved, as well as venues to hold the meetings. Calendars are synced with those that will meet with the DV, because they are often a general officer themselves, and general officers have very busy calendars. So this brings us to the transportation, which is my specialty. I'm the senior driver here at RCENT Joint Visitors Bureau. I have driven hundreds of DVs around, thousands of kilometers, and I got a whole lot of coins, which is, I don't know, a cool part of the job for me. Basically, the movement, it's similar to a military motorcade. A few differences, mainly we always follow the planning, scheduling, force protection, maintenance, and rehearsals like a motorcade does, as well as the manning. See, when I train drivers, I try to emphasize that we are building on what they already know. There's no reason to start from scratch, basically. The military's already done an exceptional job of training you, so all I want to do is build on that for what you already know so that you can learn how to transport a DV which requires a bit more finesse, and the prioritization is a little bit different. Basically, the method of conducting a mission is, let me say that the principal is the most important person. Think of it like a Secret Service scenario. Protect the president. Protect the principal at all costs. That is your priority, not the material or the personnel. Everyone is expendable due to the principal, if that makes sense. So the appearance also is a lot tighter. We're dealing in a high protocol environment. The car has to be clean. We have to have water in the vehicles. All those little details are very important because it's a reflection on the entire command here. So every little detail has to be careful. The rooms have to be clean. You have to constantly check to make sure everything's ready to go. Keys have to be working. The communications, electronics equipment has to be working. VTCs have to be at video teleconferencing. All that has to be planned and tested prior to their arrival and their meetings. Punctuality is a must. We arrive earlier than early for everything so that we can adjust if a plane comes early, a meeting gets done early, or a venue changes, or there's a force protection concern. Let's see, the professional demeanor, that's paramount. And that goes back to the importance of the meeting. I mean, they make command policy, so depending on how many MRAPs we get, or what we're going to be doing down the road in another war or another area, that's what the DVs are meeting for with the generals that are in theater. So we have to make sure that they're comfortable. They don't wait for a darn thing. We communicate with the ECPs. We have special passes. We identify our vehicles with red and blue lights, police lights, as well as star placards in the windshield to let the guards know that this We are the people that we said were coming through, and our special passes, our no check passes, provide further information on that. Why are DVs so important? Well, the command policy for one. They make decisions that's going to affect everyone in theater. I like to talk about the PJ scenario. The Air Force has pararescue jumpers that are trained to save pilots. Why do they save pilots? Well, it costs a lot of money to make a pilot. It costs a lot of money to make a general. They've gone through all the schooling, military's paid their wage, and I'm a huge believer in the taxpayer. I don't see who isn't. That's what we're fighting for, our country. So the taxpayers, they pay our salary, they pay the salary of the Commanding General, they pay for all their travel on these airplanes. It costs a lot of money, so let's protect the Americans' interests and make sure that the DVs get to their meetings. They have time to make proper policy. They're well rested. You don't have to monkey around with little situations at, at the door with a key or at the airport. We're always on time. Get them there quickly. Get them there safely. And that is an overview on a distinguished visitor mission.